78% of suicide rates worldwide are men. What can we do to help them? Do more to help men. Society has so many safety nets set in place for women and little to none for men. I'd like to have friends. As a man planning on committing suicide, loneliness is a key thing. I can't talk to women as I'm a creep if I do, even if it's just professional or just small talk. I'm insulted for trying even though pretty much all of the time I am not talking to you to hit on you. If I try to open up about my issues to friends it's weird and I shouldn't. I have my emotions used against me by my exes, and I was insulted and told I wasn't allowed to talk when I told my ex that the way she treated me was hurting me. I was told I had to suck it up. This turned into a rant, but we need a friend. Care about men. Depression. Decrease the importance of work, promotions, and money. The world right now runs on power and money as though they're actually important, but lack of both just leads to apathy, nihilism, and depression. Speaking from experience. Legalize prostitution. Get every man a PC and get them into gaming. Instead of constantly insisting and hounding men to be more sensitive and share their feelings, how about society actually listens to men when they open up? It'd be great to be able to open up to the people supposedly closest to you without being mocked for being unmanly. It'd be nice if women practiced what they preached. I've watched friends and family be crushed by the insensitive words of the women in their lives mocking them for it, all because they opened up like they were asked/told. Encourage men to feel safe reaching out for help. I feel like even now there is a huge stigma about men's emotional needs. Work on promoting that it's good for men to discuss emotions and that it's not weak of them to display their emotions. Skate. There are so many jokes about creepy guys and how fucked up guys can be. Please, take one fucking second to think about why they might be like that. Yes, some may just be fucked up in the head. Others may have never felt another human's touch since the last time their mother was able to pick them up. Hand out guns? Stop the police from trying to stop them? Teach kids how to tie a noose? I've heard statistics implying that men and women actually attempt at roughly the same rate, but men choose more effective ways of doing it: gun, hanging versus cutting, pills. I don't know how to help the situation, I just thought it would bring more information. Invent suicide booths? I know I'd give it a go. How about we stop perpetuating the narrative that all men have easy lives, should be tough enough to handle any friction in their lives, and are inherently oppressive or aggressive. I just came back from attending my cousin's funeral. He killed himself at 31. There's still such a taboo surrounding mental illness, very few resources, and a culture of having to succeed by the standards of everyone else that when you're not the norm it feels like you're failing. There are so many things that could be improved. Mental health needs to be more of a priority, and shouldn't put people in debt just by seeking help. We need to learn to love and accept the people close to us, even at their dark times, so it doesn't feel so isolating. These connections to other people are so important, and they seem to be harder and harder to make and keep. Please look out for your friends and family. Let them know how important they are to you, and that you are there for them to reach out to. If you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or just life in general, know that there are people to reach out to, and who care so much about you. You are not alone. What is interesting is more women, in the UK at least, are diagnosed with mental health disorders. We need to change the societal standard where men are taught they need to be strong and not seek help. Young guy in my early 20s. I think I've come to realize that a lot of my depression came from not really being connected to others in any meaningful way outside of family. Like, no one but the people who are supposed to care about you do. Let me tell you, it is a very hard and long rut to get yourself out of. I thankfully joined a very positive fraternal environment, and it has helped progress me a lot. The biggest two hurdles I'm working on overcoming right now is interacting with more and varied people for no reason but the interaction. And the second is trying to be more intimate with people. I suppose I could be classified an incel, but I've never personally identified with the term or community. I recognize that I have faults that need work and I'm working on them. But I guarantee you that my high school self wouldn't have recognized that. And there are several men who continue to age without this realization, and grow stagnant, and they hate the world and themselves for this fact. I think, in general, depression is what happens when your brain, your mental muscle, goes into atrophy. If it's not being challenged, and all its needs are being supplied with minimal effort, sex, masturbation, quality food, bag of chips, social interaction, online interaction, exercise, sitting on the couch and being lazy/ignoring the problem of inactivity, then it starts to shrivel up and die. It may not physically shrivel, but it emotionally does. If people accept the highs with the lows and pursue stuff that makes them uncomfortable, then they are generally happier and thus probably less likely to kill themselves. In short, I think our technological society will eat itself from the inside out in a self-destructive and selfish manner. I apologize if this seems like a jumbled mess of thoughts. I'm on mobile and a class is about to begin, so I can't really refine it right now. LMK if anyone has questions. It's always the same. Oh man, that sucks, but you wouldn't believe how hard it is for me. Edit, this is not just about women saying to men, but also men to men. Thank you for all of your kindness. This is only a thing because women have lower successful suicide rates. Women have higher attempts. Make sure there is better access to high-quality sleeping tablets. To give more context to this, I am critically depressed and have thought of suicide daily for the last while. Homeless shelters for guys, more resources for men who are being abused by partners, ect. Make women kill themselves. Stop the "you're a man, act like one" bullshit. Get rid of the double standard and stigmas they face while trying to find mental health care. Encourage men to talk about their feelings instead of bottling them up. Give equal opportunity for fathers to obtain full custody of their children as the mothers if a divorce occurs. Better counseling for veterans. Just in general, male and female veterans have an extremely high suicide rate. Doctors, the highest of every profession. More men-only oriented support groups as we have millions for only women. Eliminating toxic feminism that only aims to demonize all men. Erase TERFs. Understand that half of domestic violence is towards men. Don't dismiss it when a man says he was raped. That's just what comes to mind at the moment. This is all coming from a woman who has watched her father struggle with depression. I've watched my husband struggle with depression. I've watched my uncle, my cousin, my other uncle struggle with depression, and because they're men they were told to man up, and then one uncle went to jail for drunk driving. He drove his car into a local lake trying to die. I walked in on my father holding a handful of pills next to an empty bottle of Jack Daniels. I watched my husband break down in tears. I lost one of my cousins because he couldn't see his children. This isn't a joke. Stop the sexism that is ladies first. See, if it suddenly became men first, every woman would be up in arms. Compliment us. Give them the same chances as women. They usually get a longer sentence from a woman who did the exact same crime. The court system as a whole is more biased towards women, usually giving women full or at least the majority of custody of a child her and her partner had together. Men are also seen as a danger to society by some women, which is simply not true. Men can also be victims of rape and other similar acts. But due to societal pressure, men often feel like they can't open up about these things. Society should be more open to men expressing emotions. Destigmatization of mental health issues and removing male bravado, like such terms as man up, boys don't cry, etc. etc. Probably things like homelessness, unemployment, education, crippling debt. You know, the things that make you wanna kill yourself. Men are told they have to take care of themselves. When they can't, it's usually not just a metaphor that no one else will. This is a trend across nature and a harsh reality I've felt firsthand. The only time I ever got close wasn't because depression, loneliness, or a relationship. It was because I was turned down for a job. No prior mental health conditions. I'd cruised through 3 prior interviews and then was finally turned down by a fucking CTO. I went from being really hyped up, and then I was crushed. I'm better now, but it was an eye-opening experience. It still scares me how out of my normal frame of mind I was at the time, but it taught me how fragile and irrational the human state of mind can really be. Everyone is vulnerable, even you, even when you think you're not.